Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bright Sports Network. This is the seventh inning stretch.
All right, we're live here with you on a Wednesday night, and as you can see, we got a full house here today on seventh inning stretch. We had a great show last week. Had Susie on with us. We went over shortstops, hit on a lot of different topics on Basemen and a couple other things. But tonight, we got a full house, and we got the welcome back of a lot of people here. We got McGurk back in a while. We have Lewis on in a long time. And then, of course, we got Edwards making it back here after about a month there. Edwards, so good to see you as always. How you doing there, sir? You ready to talk some baseball? It's been too long.
Let's go. It has been too long. I'm going to try to keep up.
What year is this?
2021. Is that what it is?
Oh, man. Yeah. It kind of feels like it's 22 again.
Oh, we got
the our team going. The OG crew.
We got the OG. It does. We're like old school here with it. Lewis, been obviously a long time. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to have you on, especially because I always see you kind of tweeting about movies. You have a heart for it, I can tell. You have great knowledge and history of it. And I think all of us can say here in one way or another, and I think the audience with us tonight can say the same thing. If you're a baseball fan, there's baseball movies that shape who you are. There's baseball movies that stick with you more than other ones. When I told you you'd be on to talk some movies, when you think of baseball movies, what kind of gets you, like for you, what gets you going on that topic? You get us started here.
Oh man, I have yet to see a bad baseball movie. They're just they all. I know we'll get into overrated. We'll get into that, but there is yet to be a baseball movie where I'm like, oh god, that was awful and a waste of my time. So I am looking forward to talking about this. It was kind of funny when you approached me about it. Like I had literally had a conversation with some of my buddies the other day of like, what's your Mount Rushmore of baseball movies? And like we had the caveat of like, it doesn't have to be like the best movie or the most well-known movie. It was like exactly what you said. These four movies that have shaped you or have had an impact on you or whatever the case may be. And I have a passion for storytelling. Like I think that storytelling is amazing and one of the best ways that we can grow this game and grow the love of the game. Like my kids fall in love with baseball because of the stories, because of the people, because of the events that happen. And so baseball movies are important in that.
So on that note with the movies and the way you kind of describe it, well, let's do it like this. We got a good panel on. We got a big panel on here. So I kind of posed the question below here let's get the conversation going. What are some of your favorites? And on top of your Mount Rushmore, like what are the ones like for us? If I say impact you the most, like McGurk, what one movie? Like if I say baseball movie, what one do you stands out number one?
I mean, for me, it's The Sandlot. Growing up in the 90s, like being a kid, it just resonates with me as a little league. Like that was like the best time. Like, and they've mentioned it in the movie. There's always going to be the last time you hang out with your friends and you don't know when it's going to be. And The Sandlot captures that perfectly. So I always go The Sandlot with this nostalgia, and it's just the story is great. Like it wasn't about like one game. It was a group of kids playing baseball that brought them together. So like that movie definitely hits home for me.
93, that movie was made. That McGurk, that puts you at 6. I was 9, I believe, maybe when that movie came out. Lewis, I saw me and you also happy about that one. I know that's always been your number one film with it. Logan, I saw you maybe shaking your head down there though. Is that what I saw? What would be what would be for you if you had, what would be your top choice?
No, I love The Sandlot. I just,
not number one for you.
I mean, I think we all know what number one is. It's Mr. Baseball. Thank you very much. With Tom Selleck.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
Good old Tom. That's
No.
great.
But I do believe that movie deserves so much love.
It does.
So many people don't talk about that movie anymore. It's so great. I love that movie.
Number 10 on my list, to be honest. I have that number 10 on my
number 10. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
Dude, there's so many, it's so hard.
No, I mean, Darren and I have bonded over our love for this movie, so we need to just not.
I was surprised you didn't say Moneyball. I thought for sure that was the one you were going to go with. That's what I thought.
I do love Moneyball. Moneyball is one of my favorites. I wanted to get Mr. Baseball out of the way before we didn't forget about it.
What a mustache he had there. When he started with the Yankees in that movie, right? And then that was where he gets that batted. I love that where he starts out there and then ends up for the Dodgers in Japan.
Yeah, I was gonna say it gets traded to like the Tokyo Dodgers, which is so funny because now that's what the current 2025 Dodgers looks like.
Edwards, where do you sit on your best movie here? Then I'll get to Lewis here.
Well, I'll take one that hasn't already been said because I think Sandlot is.
Would that your number one choice for you too? Like, no doubt that would be.
As a kid, yes.
Okay.
As a child, this is probably my number one as a child. But one of my most impactful as a teenager was probably Bull Durham.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because there's just a different perspective on baseball and understanding that your time comes to an end, so enjoy it while you have it. I think that's what I got out of it as a teenager.
Yeah, kids, it's interesting. There's two kind of questions here that we're posing, right, Lewis? It's what's your favorite ones, and then what ones kind of shaped you. Those are two different kind of questions. I feel like you know what I mean? Like Edward said, like you have your kid ones that you kind of remember. Tyler Wright, Rookie of the Year. There's seeds in that one. Like you just know right away that as a kid they would like made you laugh, like the Floater McGee and she's stacked and like all these lines that we love. Milk did that buddy good. Like all these lines that like kind of shape you as a kid, but as you get older, you have a different type of sonnet. So I know The Sandlot is for you. I believe your number one movie. I feel like.
Absolutely. Even if I watch it as an adult, it's my number. Like because it brings back those childish feelings that I don't get enough of. I can't get enough of it. It just brings that nostalgia.
Lewis, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Sandlot? To maybe what impacted you the most? Those are two.
Yeah. So I have two answers. I'm cheating, but Sandlot is my number one for this, specifically for this stage of life that I'm in. Like I've got young kids. I've got kids all under the age of 12. My 11-year-old daughter has a massive crush on Benny the Jet Rodriguez. And so it works out, which she has to fight her mom on that. Cause she's like, my wife is like, no, I had a crush on him first. Like, this is our era of movie. Like go find your own character to crush on. But no, it's just to see my kids now watching it, kind of like Tyler said, just like it unlocks this whole other like childness in me that gets to enjoy that with them and just kind of enjoy it with new eyes. And so, yeah, Sandlot is huge for me in this stage of life. However, it wasn't always that way for me. My number one that probably had the biggest impact on me because it was twofold. It made me fall in love with baseball, but it also made me fall in love with movies and film is Pride of the Yankees. Pride of the Yankees is my number one that I've loved since I can remember. I grew up like most kids grow up watching Saturday morning cartoons, right? Mine was watching old black and white films with my mom. And so that was kind of our weekly routine. Just every Saturday morning, we'd watch some old movie with any number of famous actors from 30s, 40s, 50s. Yeah. Errol Flynn was my favorite. And so just Pride of the Yankees made me fall in love with the storytelling of the game, with the biographical nature of the game, with Gary Cooper playing Lou Gehrig, and just an incredible movie that celebrates a man who is just huge in the game and huge in the history of the game, and presented in a way and storytelling in a way that like how it's going to end. Like he gets Lou Gehrig's disease, like it's named after him. Yeah. So it's not going to be the greatest of endings, but they do it in a way that's just hope-filled and celebratory and just love of the game of baseball. And like I know I'm in the minority of movie goers nowadays, but like just the old black and white and movie and dialogue and just like it's amazing.
On that note of Pride of the Yankees, I've only seen a little bit of that movie. I've actually never seen the whole thing with it, so I didn't have that on here. I kind of liked your question you posed as a Mount Rushmore. So why don't we have some fun and kind of say what 4 movies that would for you you're picking? Those are the ones we obviously named our number ones we kind of had there. Logan, what 4 movies are you going with? So you obviously what 4 movies are your Mount Rushmore movies? Baseball movies.
Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Moneyball. Little Big League and Mr. Baseball.
Shout out Aaron, Little Big League. That was on MLB Network last night, actually. I like those. I mean, Little Big League, I like that one. Obviously, that one has some great lines in it as well. All right, so we got those. Tyler, where you go with your 4?
I like to give Little Big League a little more credit because they actually play baseball, like real baseball in it. Like they hired actors who knew how to play baseball. So hats off to Little Big League directors.
What a pickoff play, Tyler. What a pickoff.
It's not like Angels in the outfield where it's not like Angels in the outfield where Tony Danza's wind-up is different every single take.
Exactly. and they allow the he checks the runner again in the box the whole time. I don't know.
I gotta say, it's so funny because like my favorite part is like you're expecting them to win the big game against the big bad Mariners, and King Griffey still wins because he
robs it.
It's like, oh my gosh.
I know you're expecting. You're right. That part is great about that movie too. It's like you're not expecting that. So Tyler, you had Little Big League.
No, Little Big League's not in my top 4.
Okay,
I just wanted to give Little Big League respect for how good the baseball is. But I got to go Sandlot. I go Rookie of the Year. I go Major League has to be in here, at least mentioned by somebody, and I'm going to do it early because the line, it's good baseball movie. It's kind of it was like one of the first adult movies I saw when I was probably too young to see it as well. So
yes.
It went the opposite direction of Sandlot. And then my 4th and final, it's probably Bad News Bears. You got Buttermaker. He's like drinking beer, and it's just a great movie. So I got Bad News Bears as my 4th.
Josh Edwards, I saw you put your hand up there. Was that on your top 4 as well?
So I had Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, Bad News Bears, and Sandlot.
All right. So you got so out of those 4, you had the Sandlot 1. Like where does your heart kind of lie with the next? Are they all the same? Is there one that you kind of go to a little bit more?
They're all different for me.
Yeah. Field of Dreams gets a lot of hate, I feel like, too, sometimes because of the slowness of it. Like I feel like I have to defend Field of Dreams, especially against my wife. She never wants to watch that movie. I'm like, come on,
really?
Yeah. She says it's too slow for her. I don't know.
It's about more than just baseball.
Well, exactly. But I guess apparently
Angels in the Outfield is a good one. I can't believe not.
I said Angels, and I think he's questioning my pick of Angels in the Outfield. It's like Little Rascals to me. It's a movie that I watched as a kid.
100%.
Gives me hope for I don't know. It's just a good, fun movie.
My 9-year-old daughter quotes that movie almost daily. Of it could happen.
Exactly. Like that's all you need. It could happen.
If where I'm standing, if they win the division or they win the Bull Durham is an interesting one to me. I feel like all of you kind of had that probably high on your list. And Josh, you brought it up as one of your favorite ones, like because it kind of reflects on the other side of the minor leagues where you have this great player but that was never able to ascend. And then you have, obviously you have Costner and Robbins together. That's pretty good. 2 pretty good guys up there as well. But there's so many great lines in that movie. I have it pretty low on the list for me. It's 12, but it doesn't mean it's a bad baseball movie. But there are some great lines in it. The flooding of the field on purpose, like some good minor league humor there with it that you kind of pick up. The coaches. I love the coaches in that movie, to be honest with you. To me, they're an underrated part of that film. Just a very you want me to go talk to them? You lollygag the first. There's some good stuff there with it. So and then I love the interactions between him and Tim Robbins on the mound. That's where I do like they have some good stuff there with it. Yeah. I had Sandlot, I had Rookie of the Year, I had Field of Dreams, a movie we have not mentioned is number 2 for me, A League of Their Own. I have that one too. I don't know what there's some great lines in that one as well that again as a maybe like Tyler said, there are some older parts even in that movie where when you're young and you see it, they stay with you a little bit too. Madonna's character was a little different back then. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I had League of Their Own. That would be my Mount Rushmore of the movies as well. Do you guys feel like we left some movies out? Like we still talking about it, but are there any ones that jumped out to you that we kind of forgot or we haven't really mentioned yet?
8 Men Out.
I had them number 6 on my list.
61.
61 is phenomenal.
61. Yeah.
42 is good.
So 42 is great. 42, all of them have different impacts for me now. So A League of Their Own is on my Mount Rushmore too, just by the way. But any of the biographical movies, 61, 42, those ones are just, they open up so much conversation, especially me now, with my kids. But funny story about 61, I'm glad we mentioned that one and brought that one up. because that was the first, like when my wife and I started dating, that was the first movie that we watched like together. Like there was a baseball movie, like she knew I loved baseball, and so we just happened to turn on 61, and by the end of the movie she's like bawling because she's like, I can't believe somebody, like, people would be so mean to Roger Maris and like all this stuff. Like she's a very much an empathetic person, and so she's like bawling at this movie, and I'm just like, yeah, let's not watch like some of the Jackie Robinson stuff or something, man. Like, but obviously 42 wasn't out yet, but like I'm just like, like that's gonna be rough. But
40. Do you guys feel like they've made? How do you feel about baseball movies going? Like, I feel like we're kind of, I don't know where we're at. I feel like there's so much, like, we're in this documentary world ever since The Last Dance.
Yeah, it's kind of ruined it.
Yeah, like, I feel like The Last Dance kind of set that up for a lot of these things going forward. I just got me thinking about whether, like, we had this great run of movies, I feel like, from about, I know Josh Lewis, you mentioned, like, for the Yankees one from, like, the black and white days, but kind of in our era, we had some good runs, I felt like, in the 80s and 90s. And then there was kind of sporadic throughout the 2000s. You had The Rookie. You had, some other movies that were made during that time that were very good. But then it kind of feels like, I'm not sure where baseball movies are headed. Like, I don't know. Is it just always going to be biographies basically being retold? Like, a lot of these are just like, I mean, who's coming up with The Sandlot again? Like actually, it's just, I don't know where baseball movies go. So it got me, as we were having this discussion, I'm kind of interested about how.
It's a hard sport to make a movie around. I think the last one I saw was, The Rookie. That's a very
that one's a good one.
movie.
That's more story.
What was it? Everybody Wants Some. I saw was kind of like the last one that they made, last big budget movie with Richard Linklater, and it's basically about a college team playing, and it was a good movie, but it's kind of weird because it's just a really hard topic or a sport to make a interesting movie about.
They had a good run for a little bit on some of this stuff. I mean, I know Angels in the Outfield technically was kind of a remake too, like a totally different remake, but like that one was made like the 50s. But most of these are, I don't know. There's a lot of originality when we're going over these lists, and I'm just like looking at like you look at year by year what the movies were made, and it feels like there's a big drop off in some of that, in some of those areas with this. So I'm curious.
I think movies in general have had a major decline over the last 15 to 20 years.
It's a superhero movies.
Yeah, it's all superhero. What was I think it was The Hill. I think that was the last one that kind of I thought about that was decent, where the guy has the kid has the bad legs and he's out there still playing. That's like the only one I can kind of think of, but that was made last year.
Maverick was the last good movie I think that came out.
The Maverick.
With The Hill.
You didn't like that one? That was the only one I can think of that like I can like randomly think of that actually I kind of remember. What do you guys have as underrated?
The Game's not a bad movie. Kevin Costner. It's slow.
Yeah, the Love of the Game is good.
I like that one.
Hey,
too.
that's a great.
Another fun like baseball movie that not a lot of people talk about is Mr. 3000 with Bernie Mac. You just want to waste 2 hours, have a couple laughs, and get a little baseball. And I'd recommend that movie as well.
That one's a fun one too.
That was going to kind of go to my next kind of question here with you guys as we continue to talk your movies with is what's kind of like some underrated movies? I did have Mr. 3000 on my list. Is there ones that is there underrated ones that we're kind of not thinking about? I had Mr. 3000, like I said.
The Rookie is probably the most underrated one.
You think so with Dennis
Quaid? That one's really good.
No one ever talks about that one, and that's a really good biography. And
it's a great story.
Yeah,
it really is a really great story.
Was it chemistry teacher, science teacher, right? So
ends up pitching for the Devil Rays. Yeah.
That a lot of people like that one, League of Their Own. Yeah, we mentioned that one. One of the best over.
Favorite probably on my list.
Yeah, so one of the underrated ones that I always tell people, and it's only underrated because not everybody knows about it. But like everybody loves the movie 42, but it's actually not my favorite Jackie Robinson movie. Soul of the Game is just phenomenal movie. It's actually talks about the choosing of Jackie Robinson. So Satchel Paige plays a part in it. Josh Gibson plays a part in it. And so there's a lot of kind of cool Negro League history in it as well, to where it's like, how did they land on basically picking Jackie to be the one that the Dodgers signed, and so soul of the game, really good one.
You're right. They kind of briefly hit on that part of it in 42. Like the owner, like just a little bit talks about it. That'd be interesting. Soul of the game, underrated. I might have some controversy with this one, but I have bench warmers. Does that get underrated as I get?
I like bench warmers.
Does that get a baseball
It's skippable.
My son, I asked my son which one. He's like, the guy that wears the helmet. Like, as soon as he said it, I knew what he was talking about right away. I like Trouble with the Curve. I don't know what it is. I like that movie. I like that. I especially like the end. I kind of like
Hana's rubbing off on you.
No,
it's just okay.
I had
like
that
that
as
one.
the only one in my crap list.
I like that one a little bit. I like the
my
idea of the
gosh.
scout with that one. And you give me a little Clint Eastwood.
What's the movie with the two Indian guys who are cricket players that somehow get the pirate side?
Oh, $1 Million Arm.
$1 Million Arm.
Yeah. I never saw it. Is that
John Hamm.
worth a watch or?
It's a good movie.
It's okay.
Movie.
It's better than bench. It's better than bench warmers.
That's the kind of
it's an Adam Sandler like type movie.
That's the weird what is it, biography that's so weird because you're like, oh wow, this is based off a true story, and it talks about how great they become, and you're like, I've never even heard of these players. So like
they didn't even barely sniff the majors. So
yeah, so it's like, okay, so what is this movie even about?
That's what.
Anyways.
Does Summer Catch count as under? Jessica Biel makes a good appearance.
Jessica Biel was underrated at that time.
Hey, if we're going down that road, I'll take Fever Pitch all day.
I put that on my underrated list too. Oh my gosh, Josh, you're on it as well.
Hey, can we talk about the worst baseball movie of all time, though?
Let's go ahead. Is it
The Natural?
Yes, somebody said it.
The dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life. I tried so hard to watch that stupid movie with Wilford Brimley talking out of his butt. I mean, I hate it. I'm like, I wish I was the one who got shot in that movie.
That's my only one on my overrated list. That's my overrated one.
I had it on there as well. Josh, is that overrated for you? The Natural?
I'm not a fan of that movie.
I think the only part I like in that movie is where he strikes out the guy in the hayfield. I think that's like the only part I will maybe watch if it was on.
The Babe Ruth guy.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the only scene after that he gets like stabbed right in the ground after that, and it all comes, or the kid handed him the bat. Does that make your most overrated list, Tyler, or are you a fan of The Natural?
I'm not a big fan of The Natural. My dad would talk it up all the time. And I'm like, I don't know. It's not for me. I can't sit through it. I don't think I've watched it all the way through one time. So I'm not the right guy to ask.
Well, that means it's overrated.
Yeah, it's definitely overrated on my list.
And have I told you guys the story of Rookie of the Year for me?
No.
Okay, so Rookie of the Year is obviously about a 12-year-old kid who grew up in Chicago, big Cubs fan, obviously. So I wanted to watch that as a kid, but my dad wouldn't let me watch it for the longest time because it was about the Chicago Cubs.
I remember the story.
And I was like, dude, I just want to watch this stupid movie. And my dad was like, no, you can't watch this. And so I had to sneak watch it when I was like 16 years old. It was like I was snuggling. Anyway, it was like some weird baseball porn or something that I was watching. I had to watch it in like the darkness of my own room.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, the Rookie. I mean, you learned about hot ice for a long time then. I'm sorry about that. Nothing's better than a little hot ice with it. The Babe.
It's such a good movie too. And I'm like, I didn't wake up wanting to root for the Cubs all of a sudden.
Oh my
God. The Babe's a terrible movie, by the way.
And what's the one with Tommy Lee Jones where he does Cobb?
That's Cobb. That's Ty Cobb.
I'm not a big fan of that one either.
What about Major League 2?
I liked Major League 2. I'm not as good as 1, but there's some great lines in 2.
Every time I think I've watched it, I've never seen it.
Marbles. I was a taunt through my whole Little League.
They couldn't bring back the entire original cast, which really bothered me.
Is the third baseman? He's back in that, right? Is the manager?
Dorn's back.
Or is the owner?
Snipes who doesn't come back.
That's what it is. He's the owner. That's what it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Major League, obviously with Bob Uecker passing away, I've seen there's been a lot more highlights of that on recently. So that one definitely
Just a bit outside.
they're just
And then I think they did a part 3, didn't they? They did a part 3, and there's
Back
there's
to
like
the
2
Miami.
guys. There's like 2 guys from the original cast.
I like how I like that movie is one of those like a lot of these are like totally fake, right? But it's like you can tell the baseball like common sense, like the catcher can't even like throw to like barely past the pitcher's mound. I'm like, I don't think he'd be a catcher. Then I like, and then all of a sudden he like picks it up.
No matter how good his bat is.
He's back in it. I kind of went overrated. I know. Like I said, I'm trying to be harsh. Maybe start a little. It's like I had Moneyball on there for me.
I knew you were gonna.
I had it a little overrated.
I agree with
Brought it up
you.
at all yet, so you knew it was coming.
Here's my thing. We were having a spirited discussion about this one too. Moneyball. If you love the business of the game and if you love the like construction of the game, if you hate analytics, you're gonna hate it. But like if you just take it from I am going into this watching a baseball movie for purely entertainment, then it's great. If you go into it thinking, oh, this is based on a true story, I'm going to learn some stuff that happened and blah, 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 then you're going to be severely disappointed because it's historically inaccurate to the nth degree. But it's like, if you go into it just from a storytelling perspective and from if you enjoy the game and if you enjoy the business side of the game, then it's super interesting.
It just has a lot of. I know. I see exactly what you said. There's some good maybe it's just because I know that team. I literally knew very well. Like I think I saw almost every game. So maybe it's like the results. You just know, like you said, the missing pieces in that movie. You're like, that Miguel Tejada guy did win MVP that year. Like, it was pretty important. He's not mentioned too much in it, but it is. There are some good parts in it. I had that one as it, and then. I had like forgotten ones, and these are kind of like funny. Like these are like just they have baseball in it. I remember the Fan with Robert De Niro, right? And then, like the baseball
Wesley Snipes movie too.
Yeah, pouring down rain. You are not.
Man.
You will not call this game. We are finishing this game. Basketball. No, does that count as a
basketball? Great movie.
Josh, does that count as a baseball movie?
Oh my gosh,
basketball.
I thought that was with it. All right, so that was a good discussion on movies there. Any other ones you guys want to throw out there that maybe we kind of left, or any final thoughts?
The only other one I'll throw out there because it's one of I can count to maybe less than 10 movies ever in my life that have made me cry. But Hardball is one of them. Hardball is just phenomenal
every time too, man.
Right? It's like Field of Dreams. You know it's coming, you know what's coming, and you still cry.
And every time my first time my wife saw me watch the movie and she saw the eyes, she was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "They shot you, baby." She's like, I'm like, yeah.
That's one of the ones too that like my kids caught me one time. Like that's one of the ones too that randomly I'll just be like in the kitchen doing dishes or something like that, and it pops into your brain. Just like, I love it when you call me Big Papa, and like it just kind of pops in your head. And my kids are like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "From Hardball. You guys haven't seen it yet." But
that's funny. I can't believe we had a worst baseball movie ever say like that. But I wonder. Can you reveal your age? I want to know. Is this an age?
I disagree wholeheartedly with you. I got one more we haven't brought up yet.
Hardball's
so what did you guys think about the remake of the Bad News Bears with Billy Bob Thornton?
It just didn't hit like the first one, even as it was good. Like the first one was never made, it would have been good, but it just isn't the same.
I think both of them are dangerously close to my overrated list. So I'm just kind of like, it's all right. Like,
yeah, there's and a lot of that. Well, you got a lot of views. I know in the making of it. I think that there's like some random ones made, like the Scout that were.
Oh God, that was awful.
Oh, I know. We have Ed was one of the Rotten Tomato ones up there as well, with the monkey played baseball as well. Yeah, you go baseball. That's what you're getting with some of these ones. Like I said, people watch
Airbud.
That's funny. That's funny. So yeah, that was a good discussion there on it. Like I said, I'm still kind of curious where baseball movies are headed in the future, as we kind of had this fun topic with it, and it's always good reflecting on it. Like me and Tyler always do that once in a while. We've been doing it on Fat Boy where I do movie comparisons during the year. So like it's kind of fun. Like, all right, if you had to choose League of Their Own or Sandlot, what do you like it's kind of a funny like little discussion in your mind, gets you kind of thinking like what movies actually impacted me the most on these ones. We mentioned all the ones on my list here too. So that was fun with it.
Can I just ask a question about Field of Dreams real quick?
Yeah.
It's playing catch, not have a catch, right? Are we all in agreement? Or some of you are have a catch type of guys? I gotta know.
Like in the movie or how you should actually say it.
How you should say it.
Oh, okay.
I'm all for father son playing catch. That's great.
Are you Tyler? Catch. Are you no?
I'm pretty sure in the '60s, yeah, that's how they said it. Whenever
so nobody's saying that still today. Have a catch.
Whenever I had my shorts hiked up to my waist, I used to say, have a cat.
His little hat up there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little spinny hat.
Go see about a girl.
Yeah, you got to say that.
That sounds cool, at least.
Best female out of all these movies. No, just kidding. That was not a category. Who was that?
I didn't even hear what you said.
We all know it's Sarah's. Wait.
Well, he mentioned Hardball, and it got me thinking about Keanu Reeves dating that movie, and she's easy on the eyes in that movie as well. So
Diana Lane.
She's not. So that got me thinking. Kevin Costner's on a lot of these people. He might be the baseball god. It seems like with some of these. I know Mike Kruko loves him. Giants fans out there. Big Kevin Costner.
Cowboy and baseball player.
Kevin Costner's great though because he genuinely actually likes the game and follows stuff. So that's why he's able to. Yeah, that's why he's able to make good ones.
So obviously Tom Hanks did his job as a baseball guy and League of Their Own that hit, and then it got me thinking of like you guys just mentioned Tony Danza, and I'm like, man, that is a guy that maybe shouldn't have been in a baseball. Like you try to start thinking through actors, and you're like, I don't know about that one. That one doesn't make any sense to me.
You used to be Mel Clark,
and then Charlie Sheen. I think he gets second place.
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh no, he did play center field, but Sheen was an 8-man out. He was in.
No, I think Sheen was good. He actually knows how to play baseball too. If you look at, I don't mind Sheen.
I thought I saw a story one time where he legit had people looking at him because he was starting to top out at 88 or something like that.
Wow, back in the day, that was the 98, I guess, back in the 88. All right, so that was good. We had the movies there with it. As we kind of transition on the show to keep it moving here a little bit, it got us thinking about, we've been doing the position thing. What are we last week that we did shortstops. Right now we got best second baseman, and right now are who? And it's kind of an interesting position. You look at a lot of lists, and I think it was Edwards that mentioned it's all over the place on some. Not everybody. It's not very as consistent as some of these other lists. We've been doing it kind of draft style. I know we got 15 of us here, but we can go 10, and we can throw out a few others. So we each can take a couple picks here on what we got. And if you don't want to, just pass, and we'll move on from you. You can spectate it, but. If we had if everybody wants to go with it, but we did the draft last week with it. A lot of people voted Susie won over me and Logan for the draft there with shortstops. But if we use second baseman, if I throw it over to you, Logan, who are you taking first overall, Marte or Altuve, or is it somebody else at second base?
Hold on, let me pull up my list. My number one is Ketel Marte. Yeah,
it's right there.
136 games last year, 36 home runs, 95 RBIs, 372 on base, 932 OPS, and a 155 OPS plus. He's so good whenever he's healthy. The problem is he's not always healthy, and so that's such a bummer. But I love him.
Well, MVP in the MVP running for quite a bit last year as well. And he was, if you look at the list from 2020, the year before, he wasn't on some of those lists because of the injuries you were saying. And he didn't even make it. So now he's jumped up to number one. He's always had the potential. Be interesting how the Diamondbacks do this year with Burns as well. We'll get closer to that. Josh Lewis, if you had the second pick, is it Altuve? Is it Marcus Semien? Where do you kind of lie on the second pick?
I really wish Mookie Betts was still at second base.
We had him at short last week just because we never know.
Oh man, I love Mookie Betts. He's one of our family's favorite players. I wish he wasn't a shortstop, but whatever. All right, so I'm going kind of a different route here because lately I've been on this kick of like I'm a fan of upside, and so I'm taking Jackson Holiday, and I like what he brings to the table. I like how he's maturing. I like how he's just kind of building up. He's super young, obviously, but like I don't know, like second base is a weird position to where it's like, okay, I like this one thing about this one player, but there's no like 5 tool guys necessarily or anything like that. And so I'm like, you know what? Like, I like the youth. I like the attitude. I like the pedigree. I'm going with Holiday.
It's interesting you had Holiday on there. I honestly didn't see him on many lists when I was going through it. I saw him on a few, but I didn't see him dominating the list. If it goes to you, Edwards, he takes Holiday number 2. That means you still have Altuve and Semien there. Who would you take between those two guys?
So Josh and I are kind of in a similar position. I would actually go with Bryce Terang.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one too.
I had him on my list as well. He has the speed combination, and his defense is pretty damn good. He made some great plays in that short series with the Mets. Definitely wasn't his fault they lost that wild card round. He tried to steal it in Game 3 away from the Mets in that one as well. Bryce Terang. All right, with that, I like that choice. But over Altuve, over Semien, that kind of surprises me. We have two guys.
Older. I mean,
so you think now going into next year, that's when you're going to start to see the drop off in these guys? Is Altuve a left fielder?
Well, Altuve, I would say a little more than Semien, but I'll be honest with you. If I wasn't looking just for youth and potential, and I needed like a right now, if I was building my team, and then I'd probably take Semien.
All right, Tyler, you have Altuve or Semien, or do you go somewhere else that I'm not expecting?
No, I still have my number one player on the board. I think it's Semien. I like what he's done the last 4 years at second base has been unbelievable. Like even last year, he had over 100 runs, and he had a down year. Obviously, plays at Texas Park, but like he's been top 3 of the MVP 2 of the last 4 years. He's still a great player. And when Seager comes back, it's just going to improve the pitches he sees. I got Semien as number 4, I guess, at this point on this list. But I would have taken him 1.
Semien is definitely the type of player who does really well whenever he's on a good team, and then whenever his team around him is not doing well, he doesn't do well.
When's the last time he hasn't done well though? Like it's been like since 2017. Outside
he was awesome last year. Don't you hate on Marcus Semien, okay, Tyler? I will fight you. I am a diehard Rangers fan now, okay? Don't start.
I think you got me all misconstrued. I said he's been great the last 4 years. He hasn't been bad like in 5 years.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he was doing bad, or he hasn't been.
No, he's been great. I had him as my number 1 second base for a reason.
Well, if Susie was on the show, Altuve would have been the first pick, but I get him at number 5. Then I'm still going to take him over Jimenez. I'm going to take him over Horner, over Lowe, over Tyler's guy Fitzgerald. I'm taking him over there with it. That would be. So I get Altuve at 5. But man, guys, we're saying here we're in 2025 now, and you guys are. I mean, he's been the best second baseman right in that 1-2 list for a while. So the fact we even dropped him to number 5 tells me a lot of where we're seeing that in that position.
He's always been a terrible defensive second baseman, and so the fact that his bat is kind of losing it is, it has kind of shot him. Like I had him at my 4th spot.
Okay, so let's go snake draft. So I get the next pick here. I'm going to go.
Oh, okay, that makes sense for you. Oh, let's go snake draft since I got the last pick.
Hey, I got last pick last week tue, I got first pick last week. Susie got last pick of it.
It's okay.
It's okay. And I still lost the list. Nobody voted for my team. I guess Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't sell the way it should. Come on, Kansas City.
How did you not win that list?
Because she took Seager and who else she takes?
She did sweep.
She did sweep. She took Seager and somebody else on it. All right. I'll take Albies from the Braves. I still think he's right in that top 5 list. I had him as number 4, but I can be convinced he's not. I'm not saying like I'm like I said, it's kind of an interesting list, but I think I trust that Braves uniform a lot too. It was sometimes a little more than I should, even the player at moments, but he's still a good defensive player. There was a couple guys I kind of had maybe that debate with over him, but I would still go with Albies if I had to say 6 overall for in this draft concept. So if I had him there, was it Tyler? You were next then on that one. If we did snake draft,
I'm at like a standstill between like 4 guys. I guess if I had to pick, just based on potential age, he's only 25, going to his 26-year season, hitting his prime. I'll go Andres Jimenez. His power dipped last year, which is worrisome. Plays a good second base. He hits for average. He's kind of like the speed non-power, I guess, last year, but I think that'll come back as he gets older.
I mean, 3 gold gloves by 26 isn't bad.
Exactly. Like, he's a great defender, but the power dipping is a little worse. I do not like guys who can not hit it out of the ballpark.
He's going to Canada now, so maybe he gets a little boost. Canada now because he got traded to the Blue Jays there. All right, Edwards.
Ball travels farther whenever it's cold.
Yeah, well, they're in a dome. They get a little dome. All right, I kind of think I know where Edwards is going, but I'm curious if this is where he goes. Let's see. What do you got?
Nolan Gorman.
What do you got?
No, absolutely not.
Nolan.
So I'm actually between 2 guys. I'll go Luis Garcia Jr.
Oh, all right.
Really?
A little bit of a
My boy. My boy, you do know baseball. I love you. I could kiss you right now. Extra tongue.
It ain't been that long, buddy.
Hasn't been that long. From the Nationals, getting to live, the 24-year-old out there.
Who did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say Donovan.
Yeah.
No, my other was Bogarts. As a backup, a veteran.
Logan took him at 8 as shortstop last week. So
I don't think it was 8.
Oh, you got him at short.
You took him way higher than that, I think, last week. You took him at 4. Well, because I think he's moving back to shortstop. But some lists I saw had him as well. There's a lot of lists that had Jazz in there, but we're kind of not because we also had him at third base, so we kind of moved him over there with it too. So
Jazz can be in this conversation. Shoot,
Jazz can be in every position. I think conversation. It sounds like with the Yankees. All right, so Garcia, that's kind of I wasn't expecting that, but it's a good pick at number 8 there. What do you got, Lewis?
So at this point in the draft,
number 8, second baseman overall.
It's like I feel like after we get past 5, I'm just like, it's kind of a crapshoot. But
it really is. That's what this position is weird. It's a very weird position group.
So I have I'm kind of split on a few guys. Like I don't like one guy. I don't know really if he qualifies as a second baseman because he's not actually signed anywhere yet, and so we don't know if he's going to be shortstop or second base. But I do really like Ha-Sung Kim. I like
today.
He signed with the Rays today.
Oh, did he? Okay, I missed that. So I've been out all day. I haven't been on social media today.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
guess they're out on Wander Franco coming back.
Yes, they said they're out. Josh, Edward, what'd you say? 2-year what? 29 million.
29 mil.
Okay.
So I mean, he's not going to be back for a couple months still, but like I do like him as a second baseman. Good defense, okay bat skills. I mean, good enough for second base. So I like him. And then my other one I was debating on was like full on homer pick, and Tyler might laugh at me, but he's going to be our second baseman starting at the beginning of the year. But I like Tyler Fitzgerald for the Giants.
Hold on, don't put him in as your pick just yet, there, buddy.
I'll stick with Kim. He's more proven than Fitzgerald is. I just like Fitzgerald, so I'll stick with Kim.
Fitzgerald had flashes. I don't hate Fitzgerald. I actually like Fitzgerald on the Giants team.
Well, what's my favorite saying that you have, Tyler, about infielders that can't field? They play with a kitten, bitch. I like that.
They play with a frying pan.
I give it a kitten bit, a kitchen bit there. All right, so Kim, and then maybe a little love for Fitzgerald. Logan Fitzgerald still out there for you at 10. Is that where you're going?
No.
Finish it out? Okay.
No. I'm actually surprised that you guys haven't drafted this guy yet. But Luis Arias,
he makes my overrated list.
Logan, this is a pick that I thought you would absolutely hate and you would rip on for anyone taking it. So it's coming from you. I'm surprised.
No, I like that he's a contact guy. Now, if he was on the Cardinals, I would hate it. But
Come on,
I do love him. He's.
I mean, I'd like to have him in the
346 on
leadoff
base.
spot for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and then he can get out or everyone like
clog up the base
Everyone would
valve.
just
I'm hoping
knock
with
him
your
out,
big
so-
bat Contreras can focus on the plate. That maybe he can, hit some people in from the 300.
Don't even start with me on this crap. I will fight you again.
Is he at second
and-
base though? I feel like he's not that's not really where I feel like his primary position. I mean, he did. Nobody had him on nobody on their list had him in the second base. That's why it's hard for me
He
to
plays.
put that.
I think he's overrated in general, regardless of what position we're talking about. So
I thought he played most of his time at second base last year.
No, I think he was on the corners most of the time last year. I think that was where he spent a lot of his.
Well, if you want, I'll just erase it then.
Yeah, give me another.
Everyone wants to poo-poo on the list here.
I'm surprised you guys are anti-Arise as much as you are. But
I like the rise. I was shocked by
Well, I like-
Logan's pick of the
Hey, listen, in the great words of Billy Bean, he gets on base a lot. Do I care if it's a walk or a hit?
in the more famous words of Mickey Mantle, if I hit like that, I'd wear a dress.
Wow.
Amen.
Wow.
Oh wow, I like it, Lewis. I like it. We're going full out on it. Oh, cut that, clip that. Let's get that for some takes this week. All right. So, if Arise, we'll give you that. We left off some names that.
Oh wait,
Some
are
guy-
we done?
Well, we could go.
Yeah, do we
15.
get any more picks?
We're gonna go 3. All right, so we're going top 15 then here. All right, we'll go. Deep
Yeah,
into any position.
especially since we have a
Snake draft.
snake draft, and I just totally got screwed on that last one.
Well, we'll give you a
Letting
Rise.
Josh get Luis Garcia Jr.
All right, so if you let's not take a Rise. He's not on there. What do you got? Who was your pick then? Okay, who's that?
What's wrong with the rise? The rise is fine. It's
Oh,
next
man.
person pick.
Man.
I don't have
Okay.
him as a second base.
Okay, Brandon
Okay.
Lau. Brandon Lau.
There we
you
go. Now we're talking.
There you go.
He's an all right one. I'll give you that one.
He pronounces his name
21
wrong, but that's
wait.
okay.
He pronounces his name wrong.
21 home runs last year, 311 on base, 783 OPS, 121 OPS plus. He's always been the sneaky hot second baseman of the Rays. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten traded by the Rays lately, especially whenever the Yankees were looking for a second baseman this offseason. I kind of thought he was going to get traded, but yeah, I like Brandon Lau.
All right, so you got Lau. Thank you, Logan, for playing the game appropriately here.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm
you
gonna
guys
have
were
Jose
just wanting me to-
Canseco at second base. That's where I got.
Yeah. Well, I got
Rogers
Rogers Hornsby. If that's that you guys off.
Yeah, that'd be a draft pick.
Where you got, Lewis?
Well, since we're going back, then I'll take Fitzgerald now.
There you go. Now he gets Fitzgerald. He gets both his guys after all the picks. All right, so over to you then, Edwards.
You know,
I
who
guess
we
I
need
could
to
still
get.
take Bogarts if I wanted to. I could.
Well, yeah, whatever. The Padres are all available. We'll go Cronenworth the second base.
Padres are all available.
We'll just take any Padre. That's it.
No,
I take Tatis. I had Tatis.
I'll take Tatis at second base.
I like that Stott kid out of Philly.
Yeah, Scott's great.
I had him on there.
Tanner Stott or what is it?
Bryson Scott.
Bryson Stott.
Is you going Scott then?
Yeah.
All right. So take it over to you then, McGurk.
I'll take a guy. Pray doesn't end up like who was the Cubs shortstop? Glaber. I'll take Glaber Torres. He reminds me a lot of the guy from the Cubs who went to the Tigers. They're both going to the Tigers from Big Mark. Yeah, Baez.
Oh.
Hopefully he doesn't have the fall off, but I think he has the potential to be a really good baseball player, at least on the offensive end. The defense leaves a lot to be desired, but as we saw in the World Series.
Though.
I don't mind punks. I like a little punk on my team.
Well, I will represent Cardinals Nation, and I'm going to go Mr. Donovan with the 15th pick overall. It was either between him or this guy got a lot of love on lists, and we didn't even pick him. It was Nico Horner. Like this guy was like
I was about to say like honorable mention to Nico, but he doesn't have the stats, man.
He was my fourth guy.
He's the guy you expect to be good that never does good.
Jonathan India.
That was the other guy.
India.
He's fallen off in a bad way.
Yeah. What's
Where
it?
is he now? He's not on the
Royals
Reds
now. Royals now. What was it? What was the trade again? It was India for gosh, who was the righty for
relief? It was a relief pitcher.
No, he was a starter. It was like Slinger.
Singer. Brady Singer.
Yeah, Singer. That's
Brady
who it was.
Singer, yeah.
Yeah, so they get the start. That's what it was. India on there. I think Donovan's good. I think he has legit top 10 potential.
The list I saw, he was number 4.
Yeah, so I think he's pretty good. So I think Cardinals fans are expecting a big year from him this year.
Well, if they would leave him at one position and he could just play one position or just 2 positions for the majority of the season,
yeah,
we could really see what he is. I mean, he's great the way he is. Don't get me wrong, but God, I can only imagine if he could just focus on one spot.
Man, as we make our way around the diamond as we get ready for the season, we'll probably based on what we're doing, we'll probably do first base. Went there at that. We got our guy here. You guys went 15 deep at second base. Impressive. I don't think I could even name that many. Well, we're gonna test our knowledge on your on the walk off here in a little bit here.
Right?
After Diamond Notes with it, they got some good ones. 1989 stats. I'm not going to go 80s. That's too far of an advantage for me, so I won't do that.
Kevin Mitchell. All right, let's
Kevin
go.
Mitchell. We know Kevin Mitchell might be on that list. We'll have to see walk off. So appreciate you tuning in, chiming on the show. Yeah,
appreciate daily walk off. I got a perfect score today. I was pumped.
You were the one that first. You were the first one that kind of I saw you tweet about it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's right up my alley with like trying to like test myself on some of these things. But so that we appreciate them kind of shouting out our show and obviously all that too. So we appreciate that, Mr. Daily Walk Off there. All right, so we went pretty deep on it. No Zach Geloff, no A's. That was our thing.
That one's on you, dude.
Who was the guy that actually got traded to the Mariners from the Twins? Or I think it was that, and he was like, I felt like he was such a hot like kind of. Was it Polanco? Is that who it was? Right? Remember, he was kind of a big deal a couple of years. Like second base is a weird position. I bet if I looked at this from like 2014, they did it year on, it'd be all over the board. You
could literally pick like half the league and probably land on. Hey, he played second base once. Like,
yeah, you could do that with all the position stuff with it, no doubt. This
is a couple episodes late, but how is Jeff Kent not a Hall of Famer?
We'll say,
amen.
Amen to that. What about the mustache and my favorite Jeff Kent story is the one where he lied about how he got hurt and he said it was because he was washing his car. That was my favorite. That's what
off the ladder.
That was my favorite one with it. All right, it's time. Let's get to it. Diamond Notes here, Mr. Peter Gaiman. Some shout out to you. Obviously, I got on the bottom here as well on the ticker. There's a lot of.
Oh, we forgot about Ketel Marte.
Oh yeah, he was only your
Susie.
I took your short king with the 5th pick overall. They let me get him at 5, Susie. A steal I got your guy.
Gosh. I can't believe we forgot Ketel Marte. Sorry, Susie.
You better go. Wait. Logan unfortunately got him. Mariners are going to be rolling out their 8 straight different opening day second baseman of the year.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about different players at different. Yeah, Tyler and I don't want to hear about that.
No, that's nothing. We got 2.5 decades of this crap. Or 2 decades.
What's Barry Bonds going at with left field? Like
20,
every other.
This is year 19. We're having somebody else in left field.
Still my favorite my favorite random baseball stat. Nobody's hit 30 home runs on the Giants since Barry Bonds, which is incredible to think about. All right, so Diamond Notes there. I got a lot for you guys this week. I got the 3 up here, but I couldn't fit everything on here, so it's on the ticker below. You got the 3 young stars. They take over the cover of MLB The Show. Not a bad looking cover there, but they got the young guys there. They're exciting. Presley finally joins the Cubs. They get a good relief pitcher with the potential, I feel like, for kind of a bounce back year if he stays as the closer with the Cubs. The 11-year-old in LA rejects the big haul from the Pirates, and he keeps the 1-of-1 Paul Skeens card as well. A couple other random things. The White Sox will be honoring Mark Burley this year by putting out a statue of Mark Burley as well. Shout out there with it. We got that going on. A few signings today as well. What was the one? The guy. He went to the Royals today as well, and a deal along with Kim, as you guys mentioned. A couple other Collie went to the Tigers. So a few moves made today as well. What do you guys what do you guys kind of stands out to you, Logan, when I say diamond notes there?
Shout out to the kid who didn't, just give the card to Skeens, like Skeens deserved it or whatever. Like, I was very happy that none of that crap happened. It seems like there's a trend lately where, like, if someone who was it who hit the home run ball a couple years ago? Judge, yeah, and I think
Ohtani's 50-50.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that. And like everyone acts like Ohtani is owed that ball that he hit, and so they're like, "Oh, he should just give him the ball," and it's like, shut up. And so when I saw this 11-year-old kid was like the one who got the Paul Skeens card, I was like, oh, he's gonna get like traumatized and bullied into like giving Skeens the card. But no, he, like, I saw that he wrote this big letter that he like was really excited to get the card and everything, and then I saw he was going to auction with it, so I was like, okay, well, whatever.
I mean, I can't believe the Pirates didn't just say, well, here's 25. Or I don't know. If I was the Pirates, I would just try to get that card in my organization.
You think the Pirates would give the kid $25 million?
They wouldn't. They're going to give Paul Skeens $25 million. They're not
I was going to say
$25 million.
Their payroll is not even $25 million.
I don't know. I would, if I was. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, hey, they're in it for business. They're spending money otherwise.
I don't know. I was like, if he's gonna hold on to it and like go directly to auction with it, like, to me, like, either take the deal and like have fun with it. Like, you're an 11-year-old kid, and what they're offering you, like, every 11-year-old kid who loves baseball would dream of all that. But if you don't take it, then just hang on to it. Like, Paul, like, don't send it to auction right away. Like, hang on to it then. If it's a business decision, like, then you hang on to it, wait for Skeens to make the freaking Hall of Fame and sell it for $6 million instead of $3 million. But whatever.
Where's the good old American kid? Just put it in your bike. Put it in your tire. Hey, that's what I said. That'd be so funny. Like, he's like, what? I mean, seriously, that would have been funny if it was one kid that just really didn't care, just pulled the bike. He just has it and doesn't even know about it, or like that. To me, that would have been the best. I was hoping for something like that, like it just stays on forever and nobody even knows about it. Just like
somebody finds it in a bike spoke in a dumpster.
So yeah, this random card just found somewhere right there. Logan or Josh Edwards, Presley goes to the Cubs. I think that has to make him a little bit better. I like Presley. I think last year was a weird year with them with the whole closer thing with Hader since he kind of came on, but I don't know. I've always thought he's been pretty solid for the Astros, and I think it's a good move for the Cubs to pick him up, or an underrated move at least in that. That's what I think. So,
I mean, yeah, and the Centrals. I mean, the Cubs are at least doing something. They weren't that far off last year, anyways. I think Milwaukee still wins the division this year. The Cubs will be right behind them, I think. And then I think it'll be the Reds. So the Pirates are just going to fall off, unfortunately for them and their fans. So
that's kind of
if the Cubs can sneak in, maybe it makes a difference. I don't think it wins in the division.
Susie, that's kind of what I feel like. Maybe I didn't say it right. It just felt like that adrenaline from in the ninth hit differently than the eighth inning guy or something like that. Tyler, me and you used to play video games all the time. Those three guys on the list: Cruz, Skeens, and Henderson. Rank them for me. 1, 2, 3. Who are you taking?
I'm taking De La Cruz last. I know that. I'd put him third. I'd probably go. If we're doing I'm taking the pitcher. He's a sure thing as long as he stays healthy. Who was it? Henderson's a sure. I guess I'm taking Gunnar Henderson. You had 35 home runs, play shortstop.
All right. You
got a player for the next decade and a half at shortstop.
I also have it in diamond notes here at the bottom. I thought was kind of interesting. Steve Cohen's comments about Pete Alonso's contract, like saying these were more stressful than Juan Soto's, and like it just seems like I said, this thing has. I think I've been saying it all offseason. This has March written all over it. Like it's like you have Boris who is Boris, and you have Alonso that thinks he's worth this much, and these teams are like, dude, do you not watch how you can't hit sliders away consistently? Like, like there are like these issues he has, you know what I mean? But he's like, well, I hit a clutch home run. And so like you have these battles of how I think one franchise sees him, how they see him, and how he sees himself. And we saw this last year with Chapman. We saw it with Montgomery. Now, I know Chapman eventually got paid, but at the last year, that was not how the league approached it. Josh Lewis, I find that interesting, this like kind of Alonso thing. Do you think it ends up in March like I've been saying, or do you think he finally folds and he takes the Mets offer there?
No, I think it's going to go to spring training. I think that I think honestly, not just him. Like I don't see a lot of stuff happening until spring training, until people start getting to spring training, and then they're like, oh well, we need this. Or on the flip side of that, it's like, oh damn, I better get into camp with somebody. Like, so yeah, I think it's going to be a slow next probably couple weeks.
Man, it is interesting, his comments. Like, this has been more stressful. I thought that was kind of funny with it. Like, I mean, man, you gave almost $800 million away. That's kind of stressful.
I was more concerned with Steinbrenner's comments than Cohen's, but
yeah, what he say? I had that on there too. What he say? Like, we can't spend with the Dodgers.
Right, like you're the freaking Yankees. Like, come on.
I mean, that's my point with these owners. Like, he can spend with them. Yeah. And he does spend a lot. There's no doubt about it. Again, in the grand scheme of the other teams but like to have the Yankees say that, the Yankees owner, do you think his dad would ever say that? No way. No chance. His dad would probably be like, you idiot.
George would never let some stupid little fruity team from the West Coast.
How dare you?
Watch your mouth.
Sorry, Tyler.
Watch Saturday Night Live in the 80s. They use different language than that to describe the West Coast. So, you got a different thing to describe that. All right, so those are some interesting things. You're right. I think that Yankees won, Lewis. I saw that kind of a few hours before we got on, and I gotta read up on it more. But I'm curious what some of the Yes networks say about that. When I listen tomorrow on the radio, like there's got to be some good reactions from some of these guys on the show. Like, what do you mean? Like I can see that, like the Yankees there with it. I got a bonanza question for you guys. I think it's kind of interesting. I got all five of you. You all know baseball. What do we got who's the most underrated MLB legend? So obviously they're legends, so they're great. Mm-hmm. But who is somebody we kind of maybe forget about, or the fans forget about, who probably the Hall of Famer in most of these cases, but or a very good player, obviously, like verge of a Hall of Famer.
Sorry,
Tyler,
I can't remember.
Tyler, outside of CC Sabathia, for you, who is like the most underrated? Who's the most underrated MLB legend? If I said that to you, is there one that kind of pops out to you?
I mean, I think he's gotten more recognition since the last 2 years, since the documentary and he died, is Willie Mays, as far as like people who like were surprised at how great and like who he was until that had to come out. Like, because I grew up, my dad, since I was born, would always tell me Willie Mays is the best baseball player of all time. Willie Mays is the best baseball player of all time. So him, but like someone who I think underrated is Roberto Alomar. Like, I think he was like, and we're talking about second baseman today. He was this unbelievable power, speed. His defense was wizardly, especially next to Omar Vizquel in Cleveland. Like, he was just magic on a baseball field. He did have his run-ins with spitting on players, which isn't a good look. I don't back that up, umpire. But like on a baseball field, that guy was a magician.
And his team's won too.
And he was a switch hitter. Yeah, exactly. He was a winner.
Famous home run off the Yak in Oakland Coliseum there. Yeah, that's a good call there with it. Lewis, who pops to your mind there?
The first one that popped into my head, only because he's like, first base is such a deep position historically, with just incredible players. But the first one that came to mind is Hank Greenberg, Detroit Tigers. Just you look up his numbers, compare him to any first baseman ever, and they're right there. And he just doesn't necessarily get the clout. And I know, like, he lived in a different time. Like, I know, like, not as bad as like segregation with all that, but like anti-Semitism and whatnot that he had to deal with. And like, I get it. There's a lot of ancillary stuff with it, but he's the one that comes to mind in terms of just like a legend, a Hall of Famer that doesn't get the clout that maybe like Gehrig or Pujols or whatever other players at that position.
Playing for the Tigers, right? Probably, and then the Pirates there in 19. You end up with 331 home runs, 313 batting average, over 1,000 runs scored. Yeah, maybe not the All-Stars or stuff like that you probably stand out to it. Logan Stone, who would be your most underrated one there?
I think I would go with Gary Carter.
That's a good one. Good one.
Going, watching the 80s Mets series and, kind of getting into his baseball card. I was actually trying to pull his page up on the baseball thing, but he's got like 320 something home runs and 2,000 hits. I mean, he was really good, and 2-time All-Star MVP, 11-time All-Star. Let's see.
Yeah, and he won the World Series, obviously, with the I always found it funny that Keith Hernandez was annoyed by him. He's like, well, this is the straight arrow guy. I was the party guy in New York. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. You play for the Expos there. Edwards, who do you have? Maybe.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yadier Molina.
I was literally just thinking that. I so wanted to throw a Posey barb at him again.
Oh, geez, guys. I'm not ready for this right now.
Tyler got angry.
I can't really think of.
See you, Tyler.
Later, guys. I gotta go. Thank you.
See you, Tyler. For me, I think it's more like the forgotten and underrated because I think we would see a lot of players from the past as underrated just because of how much the game has changed and how people have changed. So I think I can't answer that because I don't have anybody who's underrated as an MLB legend because I can't judge the guys I never saw. I can only go from what I've heard of.
I have Kirby Puckett. I think he is.
Yeah, I think he's awesome.
I don't think people talk about that guy nearly as much as they should talk about Kirby Puckett. I think two-time World Series winner playing for the Twins. I definitely have him on my list as one of them as well. That I'd have for underrated, but I understand what you're saying with it. All right, daily walk-off here with it. I got the Giants up here with it. We'll help you guys out. We'll go with the Cardinals. So it's RBIs and played for Arizona. 1989 top 3 RBIs, 2001 top 4 RBIs, 2013 same, and then played for the Arizona D-backs there. So if we go played for 2013, Jim Edmonds got to be 2001, right?
Yeah,
he's got to be 01. Womack needs to be in Arizona.
Where's Molina? 2013 or 2001? 2013, right?
2013.
13,
yeah.
Andy Bettis is going to be 01.
I was thinking, he's a pitcher, I thought.
He was.
I'm going to say he played for Arizona.
Yeah, I have to go because McGuire's 01.
McGuire would be.
Not. So that's your 01, okay.
Alan Craig is your 2013.
Yeah. Beltran.
Royce Clayton needs to go to AZ.
AZ over Terry Pendleton?
Terry Pendleton's 89 for sure.
Yeah.
So that's probably our list there. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, we got it. Lewis, you're up.
For the record, Royce Clayton was on the Giants one too.
There he was. He was on the Giants one too. I wanted to pick a random team because this team has been suffered. It's the Blue Jays, and I really want to test our knowledge here on this one. So
I was raised on the Cardinals.
George Bell's 89. I know that. I know he's 89. Fred McGriff's probably 89 as well.
Delgado 01 probably.
Yep.
Swap him with Gloss. Swap him with Gloss. There.
Sean Green's got to be 01 too.
Yeah. Sean Green played in AZ too, though, didn't he?
Colby Rasmus.
I don't remember him
playing in Arizona, did he?
No.
Yeah.
I would say he's.
Who am I thinking of then?
Rasmus would definitely be 13.
Yeah.
Batista would be 13.
Yeah.
Did Rasmus ever spend time in? No, I'm thinking of Reddick. Never mind. Troy Gloss.
I think. Didn't Batista play for AZ too? Because they had 2 Batistas on the same team. They had Bautista, and then they had Miguel Batista.
Yeah, was it? I was going to say Danny Batista,
No,
but I think you're right. I
Jose
think it's
never
Miguel.
spent time in AZ.
So he beat
What?
2000.
Yeah, what Bautista am I thinking of?
I think you're thinking of like, was it? You said
Carlos.
Miguel.
Well, Miguel was the BAT Batista.
Oh, this
He
is
was
a tough one.
he was the pitcher. But anyway,
That was the one I was thinking of the most when you said that as well. All right, I think this is a pretty good. JP is the one I'm not sure about, and Jose Cruz Jr. I feel like Jose Cruz Jr. is not 2013. That's the only one I feel iffy about over JP, but I guess we could kind of see where we're at.
I don't remember Aaron Ciabia being there.
Really?
There you go.
Oh,
So
man,
Sean-
all over the place wrong.
So Sean Green's
Green
got to be
played-
Arizona then, right?
Well, Colby Rasmus
Yeah.
has to be in Arizona too.
No, Colby Rasmus
no.
is right.
Colsey Rasmus is right.
Oh, Green is right. Sorry, my.
Jose Cruz Jr. is too old. He can't be 2013. So I think that's what it's got to be. Yeah.
There you go.
All right,
Hey.
so we got that. We got that
I was-
on there.
I was right on Sean Green. You all poo-pooed my guess.
I didn't know he played. I kind of forgot he played with Arizona. I forgot he played with there. Man, I know you glad you know these 89 Cardinals. Yeah, we got your 89 Cardinals with it. Well done. Thank you, Daily Walkoff, for the entertainment with that. I did my A's this morning. 1989 World Series champs. Easy, we got that one there. So I got that as well with it. All right. So the next one I have for you guys is obviously the trivia I will provide for you as well as with it. So here is Darren Breyer's version of MLB trivia. Logan Stone, you got me last week. You got it correct. Mike Piazza was the answer. He did not get David Cone. I'd like to remind him of that. He was a former
Oh
Yankee,
my gosh!
he did not
I
get
can't
David
believe I
Cone.
didn't get Coney.
I did not get.
That's one I probably could have gotten.
I did not get David Cone there. Hit number one. I played from 2010 to 2022, and ending my career with the Brewers. So not much. I give you 3 hints here, but I want to get your brain going on the career. He did end with the Brewers. There it was way before baseball. Susie, 1989. Yes.
I want to say this is a pitcher,
All
and
right.
I think that pitcher's name is.
Does he have?
I have no idea.
He does not know the pitcher's name. So
Almost had it.
So it is a pitcher. Okay.
he does not have the pitcher's name with it. Doesn't mean it's a pitcher. Does not mean it's a pitcher. Hit number 2. I was a 2-time All-Star. Won a Gold Glove in 2019 with the Brewers. I finished 3rd in AL MVP voting in 2015 behind Donaldson and Mike Trout.
Ryan Braun got an MVP though.
I hit 87 home runs and stole 190 stolen bases in my career. So that gives you an idea of the type of player we're at. But third in MVP voting, not bad for only having 89 career home runs. I was stunned. It was a 3rd in MVP voting at this time.
I have a guess, but the MVP is throwing me off.
Yeah, that's you see some of these lists.
MVP.
Is it Lorenzo Cain?
We have a winner. It is Lorenzo Cain. A very good, Mr. Edwards.
Now he went back.
Wow.
Mr. Hit number 3 was
Lorenzo
also
Cain.
played for the Royals and their World Series team in 2015.
He was 3rd in.
He also
See, that's what was throwing me off. I didn't think he was that high in MVP voting.
He also finished 7th in 2018 with the Brewers. So like this, he obviously top 10 for a couple of years here. Only a 2-time All-Star. I thought that was going to be.
Didn't he technically sign like a 1-day with the Royals or retire with them or something like that? I don't know.
Based on Baseball Reference, it does not have him with the Royals to finish it out. So
well, yeah, Baseball Reference doesn't record those like 1-day things.
No, I did. I go on that with some of that stuff with it. So Lorenzo Cain, not a name mentioned very often with it. I'm surprised. I'm surprised, Lewis. I thought even for you, I might be able to fool you on a Lorenzo Cain one. So
I would have had you by 3rd hit. I would have got that one.
You would have got that one.
On the 3rd hit, on the 3rd hit, I would have had it.
My first guess, just because of time frame, was Jonathan Lucroy. But then you had the stolen bases. I'm like, that's not him.
Yeah.
The
1-year wonder.
You're like, that's not how that's gonna work with it. All right, so that was a good one with it. Logan Stone, would you have got that? Did you feel confident that you could have got that one?
Oh yeah,
you would have had confident. All right, he's confidence people. He had that problem. Hit number 3. But hit number 3 with the Royals. That would have gave it away for you. That would have gave it.
What was number 3? can't remember even what.
Hit number 3 was I played for the Royals in center field and I won the World
Oh,
Series.
yeah. That would have, definitely.
All right, let me get to the final thing.
What a ride! The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
All right.
Years.
Flashback part of the show here. Shout out to maybe he'll be on the Hall of Fame, or he is in the Hall of Fame. Excuse me. Got in a few years ago as well. And when he was on, he hit absolute bombs, people. That's what he did for a living. His name was Mr. Tomei. This is him hitting the bomb here at good old Jacobs Field.
Those were beautiful jerseys.
Go from there. Like that. You can forget that one.
You knew about his sound.
Oh, wow, it's out of here. Out of the ballpark. Touch of all time for Jim Tomei. It's a 2-1 ball game.
You know how you talk about the most pretty swings ever, and then you look at Jim Tomei and it's the ugliest swing ever. But yeah,
I mean that is a bomb. 511 feet that was recorded to center field. That is disgusting. It's probably hard to see on the video as well, but that thing lands out of the stadium. That was he hit an absolute bomb. So
and the contact didn't even look good.
Oh, well, that sounded good, though. I know that.
Yeah, you hear it and you think it was perfect. You look at it and you go, that did not look like great contact.
So you got there right there. All right, gentlemen. Lewis, it was good to have you back on the show.
For sure.
Appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully we can get you on again here. Hopefully maybe I'll be doing a fantasy baseball league with you here as well. Soon, so we'll stay in contact with that. Hope maybe we can have you on maybe before the season or during the season, maybe just kind of get your thoughts on some of the baseball world there with it as well. Appreciate your thoughts on the movies as well and enlighten me. You gave me 2 movies I need to rewatch or need to watch for the first time prior to the Yankees. And what was the other Jackie Ross? Soul
of the Game. I'll throw another one out there for Edwards too. Pride of St. Louis. David Dean.
Oh, I watched that.
There you go. So we got a few out there. That Logan Stone, of course, this week as well. Will be the first baseman next week. Edwards, good to have you back on, sir. Better with you.
Good to be here, guys. Miss you.
Right. Good to have you with it. The crew, like we said, Logan, 2022. That's what we got to put on here. So we got it done with it. We got it done. So I appreciate all of you. Appreciate you guys taking some time out of your Wednesday night to do the show as well. We'll see you guys next time on 7th Inning Stretch. Peace.